Hello and welcome everybody, I am Brandon, and we got a buttload of Sonic Frontier news to talk about today. So, the Sonic team and SEGA have been working closely with IGN to do a IGN First for the month of June. For those that don't know, IGN First is a little segment that they do on occasion where they dedicate a whole month to covering some sort of game that hasn't released yet, whether that be through trailers, interviews, etc. This one in particular is pretty exciting because it's covering Sonic Frontiers, which is obviously the new Sonic game coming out that we've seen little to nothing about yet. So far we've gotten one teaser and two trailers for this upcoming open world Sonic game, and since they've dropped these trailers, Sonic Twitter has been on fire trying to decide whether or not this game looks like absolute trash, or whether it's the refresher to the Sonic franchise that we need. And now that we got some meat on the bone here, I decided it was my time to throw my hat in the ring. We're gonna go through all that and more on another episode of Game Corner. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you like what I do, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you'd like to see more, and I'll stop wasting your time. So like I said, they dropped two trailers for the upcoming open world Sonic game, Sonic Frontiers. One of them was a more general gameplay trailer that was pretty light on combat but big on exploration and movement, as opposed to the second trailer we got, which was pretty much all about combat. They both run about 7 minutes long, so they give us quite a bit of content to mull over here, and both of them together give us a pretty good idea of what this game is going to be all about, and honestly, I don't hate it. As always, take everything on this channel with a grain of salt. Even though this is official footage from SEGA, we want to remember that this is most likely footage from a older build of this game. They're going to want to make sure they take footage of a stable version of the game, and especially if it's in one of the earlier stages, it makes it a lot easier for them to show off in a trailer. So just keep in mind that what we're going to be looking at today will probably be a little bit different than the final product that we'll end up getting this holiday season. Unfortunately, as for the release date, we still don't have an official one yet. The only thing they do tell us is on the official Sonic Frontiers website, where they list that it's coming out holiday 2022, a pretty nebulous date. But we do still have about half a year, so I imagine they have quite a bit of time to end up polishing off what we're seeing. And I should mention that I'm a pretty big Sonic fan myself, at least the good ones. 3D Sonic is generally a no-go for me, even though I do have a very soft spot in my heart for Sonic Adventure, but I generally tend to lean more towards that classic 2D Sonic feel. Let's be real, Sonic has been in a pretty rough state for a long time now. The last good Sonic game we got was Sonic Mania, and the most recent Sonic game we got was Sonic Forces, which is kind of a disaster. He has had a little bit of a comeback in the last few years, seeing as how his movies have been pretty well received by the public, but he's still a far cry from the popularity that he used to be. So I definitely think it's important to remember the general pedigree of Sonic games when we're kind of looking at Sonic Frontiers here. Like I said, Sonic Forces was the last 3D Sonic game to come out, and that game blows hard. If this game can do literally anything right, it will already be surpassing the competency of Sonic Forces. Anyway, starting with the first trailer, it's primarily focused on the exploration, the movement, and kind of the puzzle solving aspects of the game compared to our second trailer, which is mostly combat. And graphically, I think the game looks okay. I don't necessarily think it's blowing my mind or anything, and it does look a little bit like an Unreal Engine fan game, I'll give you that. But if anything, it more reminds me of just like a drab fantasy world. It's not quite as like bright and expressive as something that I would expect from a Sonic game, but if they're trying to match the general aesthetic of like the Sonic movies or something like that, I could see where they're kind of going here. I'm not exactly offended by the way the game looks, but I definitely would like to see some more varied areas in this game. The only thing they really show off in the trailer is this grassy fantasy hill zone. On the official website for the game, they do mention that there will be dense forests, overflowing waterfalls, sizzling deserts, and more. Not exactly a confident answer there, Sonic team. Generally, when you think about Sonic, you think about going to different zones, different areas that kind of look different and feel different than the last zone or area that you were in. And so if you're kind of stuck in this weird fantasy zone for the whole game, I think that could really turn some people off. As for the level design and the overall size of the world, which has been getting quite a bit of criticism online from fans, one of the funniest being this one. While it is worth a good chuckle, I do think that this take is kind of missing the point a little bit. I actually kind of think the level design and how it seems to be intertwined with the movement in this game could actually be pretty fun. Fluidity of movement and getting from place to place in an interesting way can be a game mechanic. In fact, some of my favorite games that do this are Spider-Man and Just Cause, both of which are heavily reliant on getting around being a key aspect of gameplay. In my opinion, I think this is actually kind of what they're going for when you see these massive spaces between the rails and the shrines and the enemies. When you're moving around so quickly, that world has to be big enough to support a feeling of scale without making you feel slow. It's sort of a balancing act between the player character's speed and the size of the world. From the looks of it, Sonic has a few different speeds, and I would imagine those are triggered by holding down a button and tapping for a boost possibly. If this is the case, that means you have a lot of control over Sonic's speed, which is pivotal for zipping to the next shrine and slowing down enough to solve a puzzle. And don't get me wrong, there are some serious glaring issues here. You see quite a bit of pop-in in this trailer, and Sonic's animations aren't exactly all there. But what they're showing off so far just really doesn't piss me off as much as it seems to be pissing off everybody else. Next up in the second trailer, they focus almost completely on combat, which we only saw briefly in the first trailer. This one maybe went on a little bit longer than was necessary, to be honest. But it basically shows off Sonic fighting a few different enemy types and then kind of ending the trailer with this giant, like, Shadow of the Colossus style boss battle. This is the part of the game that looks the most janky or weird to me. I think we should keep in mind here too that some of the weirdness from this footage might possibly be from an inexperienced player capturing the footage for this game. It sort of looks like just some raw footage of some journalist playing that game and then kind of clipping it together into a quick video to throw out on IGN. While I can't say for certain, and I don't want to assume, it sort of looks like that in some of these shots. Anyway, first things first, I do like the abilities that Sonic seems to have and utilize to fight his enemies. You don't always just kick and punch people. He has this one where you kind of paint a circle around the bad guy and then a shell pops off and you can whack at him before his shell pops back on him. And then there's the other one that they show where he's like throwing out punches and it's shooting projectiles at the enemy really quickly. And I dig that, I'm not gonna lie. I think it's kind of a neat way to take down different enemy types. I'm hoping they expand on that and give you even more options for taking down enemies and kind of dealing with the environment around you. And that boss battle at the end looks pretty epic, I'm not gonna lie. I've seen a lot of comparisons to this online, but it's clearly reminiscent of something like Shadow of the Colossus. And I absolutely love when you knock the robot down and then have to like run up the side of him to like bash the antenna on top of him. I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool. Thought that was a neat idea. I think that works. I'm really curious to see kind of how the other bosses are handled, how what mechanics they have, and how you utilize that speed and momentum to take them down. Unfortunately, you just can't watch this 7-minute long demo without seeing some glaring issues though. One of them being that these guys are serious meat shields, dude. I'm especially thinking of like the first robot he takes down and then the one with the shield. He seems to hit them a lot of times before they finally go down. And that sort of gets my mind thinking like, are these guys meat shields or are they intended to kind of be these bigger moments that you find throughout this open world? It doesn't exactly blow my mind, and the minute-to-minute combat where you're just kind of kicking and punching looks kind of odd. Unfortunately, without having played the game myself, I have absolutely no clue how this feels. Maybe it feels a lot better than it looks. I feel like there's a lot of automated actions going on there, which makes me worry about how much fun that's actually gonna be. But yeah, if anything, the combat is definitely the part of the game I think needs the most help or the most fixing. For once in a very long time though, it actually seems like Sonic Team is trying. And I honestly think that's more than worth being excited about. And don't get me wrong, this game isn't going to be like a masterpiece by any means. I'd love to see it just get like a solid 8 and really show people that Sonic still has it in him to make something decent. This might not be the 3D Sonic game that a lot of people have been clamoring for since they were kids, but it definitely shows that they're interested in taking feedback from their players and kind of trying to push Sonic in a new direction. And like I said, I think that deserves some applause. Anyway, that's about all the Sonic Frontiers news I got for you guys today. I imagine we're going to hear more about this as the month goes on here. So we'll probably end up getting some more information about like what we're actually going to be doing minute to minute in this game. I think if the only thing they're going to end up doing is this green fantasy zone, like I said earlier, I think it's going to kind of turn some people off. Possibly me included. Anyway, what do you guys think about Sonic Frontiers? Let me know in the comments down below. Do you think it's a total crap heap, or do you think maybe they're onto something here? I definitely think they might be onto something here, and definitely if they're really putting a lot of time and effort into making that movement and exploration feel really good, I could definitely see that being a hit. Anyway, I'm Brandon. This was Game Corner. Thanks for watching, and have a kick-ass week.